lot of news. Drive safe. We're going to start with. I think we just need to avoid the Cowboys game yesterday. What do you say?
It's not something I want to talk about.
No.
By the way, weird ruling on the punt. I'm not sure I understand. I mean, that was a weird ruling. Didn't like it. Anyway, whatever.
It didn't matter. I mean, that game. That's the game you really expected last week, right? When we had the new quarterback coming in. You didn't expect it this week, but it was ugly from the beginning. Yeah. Cowboys no-show, just a horrific game. We can move past that. Easy to say, I would think. Yeah. No conversation about that. But I will say, Drive Safe Dave, we had a great conversation on Friday going over the infrastructure bill. We spoke about it on Thursday afternoon as well. BCB Live did a special segment just kind of addressing what all that meant. Friday, boy, let me tell you, it got ugly. You had a lot of conversations going on between all the trucking associations, emails getting blasted out to our Congress. We'll talk vaccine first. The vaccine mandate came out and it said, "Hey, truckers, you're not exempt from the rule," is what was implied during that. In which we did hear from Labor Secretary Marty Walsh said, "Hey, most truckers will be spared," and a huge win for the trucking industry. A massive win for the trucking industry. And when he goes, most truckers drive safe, Dave, he's saying all those really except the teams.
Yeah, the teams, and I was reading into it. Some of it was some local stuff or some other stuff that had to do with doing inside work and a lot of that around other people. But most of the over-road truckers absolutely looks to be completely exempt from the ruling based upon what the Labor Secretary passed and the Department of Labor.
Yeah, but let's go into the teams. What's your thoughts on the team side?
Well, to me, it's you're already within the bubble. You're already restricted into the bubble, but I can understand how it works. I personally think they should also be exempt.
Yeah, but so I thought the same thing, and I gave that some thought as well, and I kind of go the other way now. Now, I get it for a husband and wife team. I think within the teams are their own network in there. However, if you are a driver trainer, and that means you're training somebody in your truck all the time, well, I don't know if they should be exempt, not because their bubble is constantly changing.
Right.
It can be anybody in there all the time. And I do think for that, that's totally different than, say, a husband and wife team. So I think within the bubbles, right, within that, there can be a further, maybe some further clarification, producer. Another streak, that I want to kind of go into is the Texas. We have gone now 21 years.
Yep.
21 years in the state of Texas in which somebody has died on a Texas road every day.
Now, for whatever reason, whether it's involved in with a big truck or involved in a drinking and driving or something, but somebody in some way, shape, form, or fashion has died in the state of Texas every single day. And if you spread out the numbers and you look at it, I think there was almost 3,500 right last year, and you go 365 days. That's almost 10 a day. So, I mean, there's a chance to change this, an opportunity to make a difference, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes, hashtag End the Streak Texas. We're going to get behind this because we want to show that, because right, it's what we talk about anyway, right? It's streaks. We want to increase our streaks of days of no backing into or no DOT accidents. The Texas, all they're asking for, and it's Labor Secretary, it's Laura Ryan, the Texas Transportation Commissioner. She said it best. And producer, you have that for us?
Do you think we can get there? Do you think we can have a death-free day?
Yes.
How?
We stick with it. We keep at it. We keep telling the story. We keep encouraging people.
Yes, and Drive Safe Dave, we keep telling the story. We keep spreading it. We talk about it. And part of what we do here at BCB Live is the exact same thing. When we're talking to you out there, our truck drivers across America, we talk about these streaks. We talk about the intentionality that has to happen. Because if you don't have intentionality, Drive Safe Dave, in following too close, you don't have the intentionality to say, I'm not going to pick that phone up. Bad things happen. Deaths happen. And I'm going to tell you, Texas, hashtag in the streak, Texas, Drive Safe Dave, 21 years of daily deaths on our roads here in Texas. Over 3,200 people killed so far this year alone. During the pandemic, Drive Safe, with 50% less, right? I mean, during the pandemic, we knew there was less traffic. That would have been a great time in my mind that certainly it would have stopped then. Yet we jumped up during that period to 11 deaths a day.
Yep.
During the pandemic.
Yep. Yep. Driving too fast, getting out there, nobody out there and feeling like you can exceed the speed limit. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that go on here in play, but we have to not only educate and slowing down, educate and we also got to talk about, drinking and driving, right? That still kills people today.
All the time.
Drinking and driving. Make sure you Uber. Make sure, get the word out. If we want to change it, we got to change it all the way across the board. And we got to make sure we understand what it means to be safe. That's what we talk about here, right? Protecting life. Be safe. Get out there and do what you know to do best. And you know what? Really, really, Rick, I'm just going to tell you, slow down.
We talked a little bit on Saturday. Saturday we brought in that hashtag in the street Texas, in which we're talking about 21 years of fatalities on our Texas roads.
Every single day.
And all of what we do requires action, right? I mean, we can't end this streak here of deaths on the Texas roads unless we actually do something. And when we start increasing our, some of these things like the, DOT accident-free streaks or backing accident streaks, any of these things right here, we can't increase those unless we get out and look, unless we put down those distractions, get rid of those distractions, and focus on the most important thing you have to do at that moment. Whether you're a driver and you have a CDL, or if you're a teenager going to school, or you're a parent dropping your kid off, or you're on your way to work. There's a lot of snacks that we're getting ready to see a price increase, and transportation was part of it. And I think Drive Safe Dave. I think Congress heard that, you know what? If we make this there's a chance these prices go higher.
Double stuffed Oreos. That is right there. We can do a lot. I get cleaning supplies and I get mad. I get but when you start touching the important things in life and you go out and you start, that's like an uppercut. You know what I mean? Like a belly shot right in the gut when you start going over the cookies. I mean, seriously, why touch the cookies? There's got to be a rule, a law. In fact, government intervention might be necessary in this.
Without a doubt. And here it goes. Here they go to, the cost, commodities, transportation, packaging, and yes, the labor shortage are reasons why they're going to have to raise these rates 6 to 7%. And they're not the only ones that we've seen this in the transportation. You have Unilever as well, Dove soap, Lipton tea, Klondike bars, all gone up 4%. And McDonald's, that dollar menu, it's fixing to cost you $1.06 because they're raising their prices 6% this year. $1.06, baby. That's what it's going to cost you now. I don't know if that makes somebody not order from the dollar menu or you call it dollar and change anymore. I don't know what you call that anymore.
A little bit. What do you put the greater than arrow next to the dollar menu?
But I will say this: all these snack places like Mondelez, they said, hey, during the pandemic, it actually created a larger increase for these snacks.
Right.
Larger increase for the snacks. And you know what else they also say helps with the snacks? And I didn't even think about this, but we just celebrated daylight savings time Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of odd, but here it is. It's upon us. And they say that pushing that back after Halloween just raise the sales prices of candy. Crazy. Another streak, that I want to kind of go into is the Texas. We have gone now 21 years.
Yep.
21 years in the state of Texas in which somebody has died on a Texas road every day.
Now, for whatever reason, whether it's involved in with a big truck or involved in a drinking and driving or something, but somebody in some way, shape, form, or fashion has died in the state of Texas every single day. And if you spread out the numbers and you look at it, I think there was almost 3,500, right, last year, and you go 365 days. That's almost 10 a day. So, I mean, there's a chance to change this, an opportunity to make a difference, and that's what we're talking about.
Yes, hashtag end the streak Texas. We're going to get behind this because we want to show that, because it's what we talk about anyway, right? It's streaks. We want to increase our streaks of days of no backing into or no DOT accidents. The Texas, all they're asking for, and it's Labor Secretary, it's Laura Ryan, the Texas Transportation Commissioner. She said it best. And producer, you have that for us?
Do you think we can get there? Do you think we can have a death-free day?
Yes.
How?
We stick with it. We keep at it. We keep telling the story. We keep encouraging people.
Yes, and Drive Safe Dave, we keep telling the story. We keep spreading it. We talk about it. And part of what we do here at BCB Live is the exact same thing. When we're talking to you out there, our truck drivers across America, we talk about these streaks. We talk about the intentionality that has to happen, because if you don't have intentionality, Drive Safe Dave, in following too close, you don't have the intentionality to say, I'm not going to pick that phone up, bad things happen, deaths happen. And I'm going to tell you, Texas, in the streak, Texas, Drive Safe Dave, 21 years of daily deaths on our roads here in Texas. Over 3,200 people killed so far this year alone. We talked a little bit on Saturday. Saturday we brought in that hashtag in the streak Texas, in which we're talking about 21 years of fatalities on our Texas roads.
Every single day.
And all of what we do requires action, right? I mean, we can't end this streak here of deaths on the Texas roads unless we actually do something. And when we start increasing our, some of these things like the, DOT accident-free streaks or backing accident streaks, any of these things right here, we can't increase those unless we get out and look, unless we put down those distractions, get rid of those distractions, and focus on the most important thing you have to do at that moment. Whether you're a driver and you have a CDL, or if you're a teenager going to school, or you're a parent dropping your kid off, or you're on your way to work.
We talk all the time, right? Man, oh man.
All right, so let me do this one here. We talk about in the street, Texas, right? We talk about 21 years of fatalities on Texas roads, not just Texas highways, anywhere on a Texas road. And here's a four-wheeler that just doesn't get it as well. They're going. There's nothing more important than what they are up against, right? We talk to the trucking industry, the trucking community, and we say when we see that with the big truck, we say, well, you're putting your load above everything else. This car is putting their life, the party they're going to, maybe they're late to work. They're putting their own thing, and they're risking life for everybody else on the road.
And it's not just this car. There's another truck in front of us, and they're also passing as well into that oncoming traffic in a no passing lane. And I'll tell you, as you watch it, both of these vehicles do exactly the same thing. If you'll already see a vehicle, see it passing the truck in the front, and then this one's passing as well. Everybody's trying to jockey around, and you've got a big rig coming inbound. So and you know what? It's stressful for the truck driver coming this way too, because he sees all these cars bouncing in and around. Makes it really, really stressful.
Yeah. Hey, mark this one here for hashtag in the street Texas. We will show this one here because this is what our drivers, let's face it, at the end of the day, these big trucks you're seeing out here right now, the truck that has the video, that big truck up there in front, we're in the major leagues. We're the big boys. We have that CDL. We're professionals out there. We want you, the minor leaguers, right? Those that don't quite have that CDL, we want you to watch this tape and learn from it. This is not what you do. Drive safe. I just wish I could zoom in on those license plates and shoot that over to somebody, because this is how lives get lost in Texas. Buckle up, Bob. Did you hear that today? 21 years of an accident every day. 21 years.
It is actually, it's not unbelievable. We've seen the videos, and these here can explain exactly why them numbers.
I've been watching this video as we've been talking about it, and it's really frustrating. The car went around us, right? But look how close the car.
Oh my God, the one in front. Yeah, I didn't even see that the first time.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's just stressful on every truck driver out there, making sure that because you don't want to change direction, you don't want to do anything to make it dangerous for anybody out there. But if stuff like this happens, you've got to slow down. You've got to let them in quick, because you don't want them out there in the oncoming lane, because that 18-wheeler rolling the opposite way can have an accident and then come into your lane.
Absolutely. I mean, what that car did in front of this one that cut the truck, that went in front of the truck that almost hit the oncoming car or the oncoming truck, I mean, he could have created an issue for this truck right here. Right now, where this he has to put on the brakes, maybe he gets a little scared, and now he is jackknifed. Now he's going to now he's going to the other lane, and people are dying because of not of his decision, but the reaction to the action that this four-wheeler took. Again, hashtag in the street Texas. This isn't how you do it.
No, and again, one of the things too that you don't see here is the graphs. This driver with the video is doing 55, and you stop and think about it. Had they been doing the speed limit, that gap's not there for that four-wheeler to do exactly, and this could have been a different outcome. And you can see the space staying with the other vehicle. It actually is growing. So the other vehicle is only doing maybe between 55 and 60 as well, the truck. So the trucks are doing it right here, and the other motors are just getting impatient.
Yeah, when they went out of this no passing zone, I can guarantee you they couldn't see over the rise, and they couldn't see the car coming in because they went in a no passing area and they risked it because they thought they could make it.
Yeah, and if you're in the big truck right here and you see that car making that illegal pass on you, you just got to let him in, right?
Yes.
You don't have a choice. You know, you want to slow down and let them in because that's what we do in our profession is protect life. We can't help the action of somebody else. However, we can create our own action to do the right thing, to protect life, to just let him or her in. And maybe that's what we did on this. I'm not sure, but kudos to the trucks out there for making it happen and cars. Listen, I want you to watch these videos. And my God, David, if this car hits this truck, there is no chance you live.
No.
You're another stat, and we're going to keep going on. Date on the 8th of November. The 7th of November was 21 years. It'll go the 8th. It'll go tomorrow, too. If we drive like this, it's going to continue to happen.
Yes. And, just some reminders of what we can learn, this looks, again, that we've got plenty of space. And then when I froze it, we got about 240 feet, and then it kind of closes really quick. But great job by this driver, keeping the situational awareness, able to see the road in front. But you just got to remember, hey, what looks clear here can change in just a couple seconds. And that's what happened in this video. Great job. This next one, got to talk to the drivers. You always want to remind yourselves, hey, either have a good plan, right? Maybe this was a planning issue, but you can see almost missed the exit. And then also know your body if it's talking to you. This was 7 minutes from the end of the day in this driver's shift. And we all know, you out there driving all day, you're going to get tired. We talked before about the stress on your body, that even though your mind may tell you you're not stressed, your body feels it and it will fatigue it. Stress is the leading cause of fatigue. So not sure what happened here, but just kind of look at all the scenarios that are possible. And again, being at the end of the day, 7 minutes from when the driver actually stopped for the evening. So probably going up there to a truck stop and didn't realize this was their exit.
It also looks like that yellow sign may be one of those turn, reduce your speed. You have a turn coming up as well that Drive Safe Dave typically wears on his shirt. You know what? And when we make a last second change right here, we may have missed the sign. You're right. We may be going too fast right now. And here we are. We've got ourselves in a bad spot. We've got to just, again, we know things like this happens. You want to make sure that you're doing all you can to make sure that you're aware of your location. And buckle up to your point is sometimes you're so tired, you're worn out, you lose focus on that. And Drive Safe, I know you've been on the road as you get mentally just drained and tired, and it can happen at the beginning of the shift, middle of the shift, or the end of that shift. I mean, there's times where you just lose focus, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, don't make a bad, like if you miss your exit, don't make that decision a worse one by cutting across solid lines and exposing yourself to danger. You don't know. Sometimes there's debris, sometimes there's stuff, and you might have somebody coming up on your right that's already exiting, right? So go down to the next one, turn around and come back if you need to. It may cost you 2 or 3 extra minutes, maybe 5 minutes, but you've got to go ahead and just go on. You can't cross 2 solid white lines right here. You've got to be sure that what you do is the right thing all the time.
Yeah, and you can also see in there where the blinker doesn't come on until you actually start to make the maneuver. So again, if there are people behind you, they don't know what your intentions are. Right there, you can start to see the blinker come on. So again, got to make sure that, hey, if you're tired, it happens. We've shared before, maybe it's time to share it again, but we know that stress is the number one factor in fatigue, right? And fatigue is the number one factor in distracted driving, which is kind of why, we kind of, at the safest station in the nation, we believe that pretty much all accidents are some form of distraction. And now there may be other reasons that cause that distraction, and fatigue is one of the top at the list. So know your body, know the signs. Maybe this driver was doing that and trying to find a place and then found one here. So not just the four-wheelers, but again, great speed management by this driver, and double yellow line, gonna get passed by a semi. Do have the identification marks to send this to that carrier. But again, man, we've got, just what you said, the streaks can't continue if people keep ignoring the lines, the signs, right? Just slow down and pack your patience. I mean, there's no reason for this.
Bad, bad, bad. That's not what we do. Next one.
And then gives them just a little bit of all lives matter, as we say, and even our little four-legged friends, the dogs here, as this driver at night, keeping that big picture and not causing any damage and not killing a couple dogs there. But this next one is just, wow. Don't know what happened here, but again, very dangerous, and you're going to see it at the end. I think I can make an assumption. So again, to me, it looks like because we've seen it, this driver was probably coming off of that ramp and yellow, right? Probably a yellow light, and was going to just try to beat it and tried to make that left turn a little too sharp and rolled it over. The one thing, no matter what happens, rollovers, the number one factor in the rollovers is speed, right? Drive safe. I mean, speed. You hear drivers say, well, the load shifted. Well, the load shifted because you're going too fast in a curve or whatever the case may be. This one, again, I'm assuming just by the location, it looks like they were coming off of that ramp and just laid it over because they tried to beat. The only reason you would take it that fast is you're trying to beat a light. Use this. Maybe you don't know about it. Maybe you don't understand it. But we're going to kind of break down one of the new rule changes that happened last September was you can pause your 14. And what it means, and it kind of goes real close to splitting. It may also give you that option. But basically, what we're going to start with is the brake lengths that you have to qualify. And the minimum one is 2 hours. So the reason we want to share this is a lot of drivers will sit at a customer for an hour and 55 minutes, and then they'll leave. And if they sit there another 5 minutes, they are going to be able to have an option to extend their 14 hours. If it was up at 2000 and you sat for 2 hours, it's now up at 2200, right? 10 o'clock at night. It may allow you to get home on the weekends. It may allow you to get to a safer truck stop that you want to get to. It just gives you all these options. And if you don't need it, it's okay. You just run it normal. But you got to understand that you got to get that minimum of 2 hours, and it cannot be any kind of driving. You need to be off duty, for 2 hours, and then you'll be able to extend that 14 if you need it. It's such a huge rule in your favor. And then we'll also show you how it ties into the split as well as we go through our week.